Hey guys, welcome back to the STK podcast. Spill the Karak, you know what it is. My name is Ahmed.
My name is Idris.
And today we're going to be talking about big tech is evil. Roll the intro. Alright guys, welcome back to the third episode on our podcast, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive look into how big tech is evil and basically how Facebook and Instagram and YouTube want to get their cold, clammy hands on your attention. But yeah, let's get right into it.
Yeah. So I think we should start at let's start talking about how much money these guys have.
Mm-hmm.
From that, then we can kind of go into why they have so much money. So like, what are they exactly selling? Because Facebook is free, YouTube is free. If you don't have the membership, by the way, get the membership. It's really cool. So because now they have like 3 ads nowadays. It's kind of annoying, dude. They have 3 ads, but okay. So Jeff Bezos, he's the owner of Amazon. He is at $200 billion.
200, yeah.
Yeah, a billion with a B, honeybee. Then there is Mark Zuckerberg, who's at around 100 billion. And so, as far as I know, amongst the top 5 richest people in the world, I think 3 are internet companies, social media internet companies. Amazon is not social media, but it kind of is, because like our point here by social media is that it collects your data and uses it against you.
So tech, I mean, if you say tech companies, then Elon Musk as well. So like 4 out of, I'm not sure who number 5 is. So like 4 out of 5.
Nobody cares about number 5. Right. Okay. So yeah, 200 billion. Let's talk about numbers first, and let's give our listeners of how huge a number is, like a billion, right? Then we'll climb to 200 billion. So $1 million, M, is a lot of money. $1 million is a lot of money because you can buy a lot of things with that. I think in Dubai we can buy 3 Rolls Royces, right?
Yeah.
Right, good ones, not the one that cost.
Are
like,
there bad Rolls Royces?
Yeah, not the one that have a 5-digit number plate on them, right? You can get good ones.
Oh, we're talking double plate as well.
Yeah. So it's it'll cost you around. Yeah, you can get 3 in $1 million.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
If you had $1 billion, that means you have $1,000 million, right? That means you can spend that much money, that is $1 million, every day for 3 years.
For 3 years,
7 days in a week.
You can buy 3 Rolls Royces every day.
Every single day. That's how much $1 billion is.
$1 billion.
Right. If you look at Jeff Bezos.
And also, I think if that is kind of difficult to understand, then if you had $1 billion and no other source of income, and you put that into a bank, and I think recently I remember reading that I think Dubai's interest rates are like 1.5% now.
Okay.
So if you just left $1 billion in the bank just to get interest at the end of a year, and you had no other source of income, you would have like $15 million, right? Yeah, $15 million at the end of the year on just interest.
Yeah. Okay, so 1 billion means you can spend $1 million a day, 7 days in a week, for 3 years. If you have 10 billion, it becomes 30 years, which is 1/3 of our lives if we are very optimistic.
Very. Yeah. I mean, are we getting past Corona?
Jeff Bezos has 200 billion. That means he can spend $1 million every single day for 600 years. That's how long it took for what's that church named? I think it's in Spain. It's a structure that took the longest amount of time to be built.
Yeah, it's right? I mean, I'm probably massacring.
What year was it 600 years ago?
Oh,
1400s, right?
Yeah.
What was happening then? Like, I think it's important for our listeners to know how long 600 years is. Like, that long ago, I think people didn't know that the earth is round. People didn't know, but like, the literacy rate was so bad in the world. The Spanish flu hadn't happened yet. Any of the Black Plague or any of the plagues that we know of that we talk about right now hadn't happened. It still had to happen 400 years after that.
True.
That's how long 600 years is, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We had no idea what was going on in 1400. So like, he can spend that much money. for 600 years
And
every single day.
that is purely assuming that his net worth as of this moment stops where it is,
Right.
and he
It stops
only
right
spends it, and he doesn't have it in a bank because he's not getting interest.
Yeah.
I mean, the
He has it under a
interest
bed
on
sheet.
that,
Huh.
the interest on that, dude, that
Yeah.
would be $300 million a year at 1.5%. That would be $300 million a year.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, like, it would be impossible to spend it. Like, he would
I
just
think-
keep earning it.
I think while talking about this, right, we're also kind of spoiling a lot of dreams of people of being a billionaire. Like I remember back when I was in, I think, first year of uni, Ahmed and I, we had this conversation that by the time I'm 35, I have to have at
It was
least one.
40. It was 40.
Okay, fine. I think Ahmed was at 30 and I was at 40. 'cause I'm
I was
a little
40.
more, yeah. Guys, BBA student.
Oh, you're realistic.
Yeah. That I should have $1 billion.
Okay.
Now we know how far that is. How far that is. But fine.
But hey, we
Yeah.
try. We try another day.
It's like, when you aim for an A, you score a B.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I mean,
I'm aiming for $1 billion, so I'll get a 500 million.
I'm aiming
Okay.
for 100 billion, dudes.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, that's how rich these guys are. Now, why? Why are they so rich? Like, Amazon is technically free. I mean, yeah, there's shipping charges sometimes. But
I mean,
fine.
Facebook says it on
But
the
yeah,
homepage
Right, yeah.
that Facebook is free and always will be.
It all is exactly right.
Instagram
and-
is free.
and
WhatsApp is free.
Let's also add in the fact that Facebook also owns Instagram and WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like whatever you speak about to anybody on, let's say, WhatsApp, it can reflect onto your Facebook or onto your Instagram.
And YouTube is free. Actually, I remember having this conversation with you where we were like, YouTube is actually not profitable to Google because if you think about it, the sheer amount of content uploaded to YouTube for free that is not monetized is just, it's so expensive. I think it was something like 1 million hours every day is uploaded that is non-monetized compared to every hour that is monetized on YouTube. So actually, Google's at a loss in terms of YouTube, but it's quote unquote free for the consumer.
Even if it's at a loss,
Mhm.
it's still I think the most profitable in the way that the data collection that they can have through YouTube.
So there's this thing we like to keep saying to one another, and that's, if something is free, then you are the product.
Right.
And that could not be more appropriate than in this discussion, because we're going to take a look at how big tech has become so ingrained in our lives and how are they so rich.
Let's narrow it down.
Mhm.
Let's just look at how social media plus YouTube does it. Because I think
YouTube's a form of social media. I would say it's a form of social media.
Yeah, you can
right?
comment, you can like. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
so. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, okay. So like the generic social media applications like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok.
Mhm.
What else is there? I don't know what else are these kids using these days.
All of them. I don't use TikTok. You're on TikTok.
There's
I know
Twitch.
that.
There's Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And YouTube. Okay. By the way, I'm not a social media guy. So like,
You're
I
on
don't.
TikTok all day.
No. I don't use TikTok as much as I used to use it. I
Like
made it.
a week ago.
Yeah, I had to put in a lot of effort to not open the app. And guys, it's been a week now, and
Damn.
yeah,
Proud
yeah.
of you.
I think I deserved one of those medals you get in a shrink that it's been a week since
The
you're sober.
sobriety. The
Yeah,
sobriety.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so
what do these companies do? How do they make money, and why are we saying they're evil?
right. So let's get into it. So like we just said, these services that they provide us are free, right? And the reason for that is that the commodity that is at sale there is your attention.
Right.
These services are vying for our attention. I mean, just a couple of questions. I'm pretty sure this has happened with you, but I'll ask anyways. Have you ever had that thing where, you're doing something, maybe eating lunch or just doing something other than being on your phone, and you hear it vibrate, and you can't not look at it?
Yeah.
You have to, because it's like, what if?
Yeah.
Right?
Honestly, I don't know if I think about what if, quote unquote, but it's more like I just want to get to my phone. I just have
You
to
just
get
have
to.
to.
Like so many times, I don't take my phone in the washroom. Yes, I'm one of them. So
I mean,
I'm in the minority because there's a very neat question that they ask in the movie Social Dilemma on Netflix. That
the documentary.
was the question that
He says there's a programmer, one of the big programmers that was involved in, that was pretty big in one of these 5 social media companies, and he says there's two kinds of people, right? There's the people who, when they wake up in the morning, they use their phone before they go to the bathroom. And then there's the people who wake up in the morning and use their phone in the bathroom. And those are the only two possibilities.
Yeah. For me, it was that after I used the bathroom.
Okay.
But okay. So it's happened to me that, I'm in the washroom and I hear my phone ring, like just a notification bell, and I know for a fact that that particular notification sound is not for WhatsApp, and it's for some other application, because WhatsApp sometimes you get messages from work and things like those, so it could be important. But like if it's a Facebook notification, it's obviously not important, because it's probably telling me, oh, your this friend has posted for the first time, even though it's not the first time, but fine, they say it that way. So yeah, I have that feeling like of getting out as soon as possible and getting to my phone and seeing it. And sometimes it's not even about me opening the notification, but just like swiping left on it, so it's not anymore in my notification panel, but I have to get to my phone when I hear it.
That's a very interesting thing. I think a lot of people feel that way, that it's that satisfaction of, oh, my phone is clean.
Like while seeing this, I kind of realized that I am that dog in that experiment, Pavlov.
Okay. You've been conditioned.
Yeah, I've been conditioned that get to my phone when I hear it. Get to my phone when I hear it. Even though I know I'm not going to be interested in opening it, because I don't open my Facebook notifications. But yeah, I know I'm not going to be interested but I still have to get to my phone.
True.
And I think a really bad thing that people nowadays do, like it's bad in my opinion. Human interaction is pretty important, right? Like,
agreed. Yeah.
It's very important to us, even like biologically, that we need it. Otherwise, the leading cause of suicide is depression. Leading cause of depression is loneliness.
Yeah, like
right?
Being a social outcast.
So
not just that, like a genuine human connection is something we all crave for, because there's a dopamine release, there's endorphin release, so it does physiologically make you feel better.
Even if you don't understand the science behind these things, right? Just think about this. These websites, applications, right? They get you hooked on human interaction. They get you hooked on these things where you can talk to other humans, see other humans, right? And so basically they're getting you hooked upon something that is so important to the human psyche that if you don't have it, you commit suicide. So an addict of cocaine, in that perspective, an addict of cocaine might get out of it, but an addict of social media, if they try to leave it, they probably will get depressed over being lonely.
I do agree with you, but I think there's so much more to that. I think you know the common way that drug dealers get people hooked is they give them the first taste is free, right?
Right.
And I think that's what social media does with human interaction. The beginning is human interaction, but if you glance just a little bit deeper into how these apps are actually made, you realize that it goes so much deeper. They play on inherent human psychological behavior, and that's how they get you hooked. Like, it's an actual form of addiction. For example, I think almost all apps have this now. Instagram has it, Facebook has it, where if you go to the top of your home screen and of your news feed basically, and you pull down, there's a very satisfying like a bouncy refresh animation that happens, right? It is not coincidence that design exists. The reason for that existing is because that whole process is
whole experience of that 1 second that it loads.
Exactly. It's based off of jackpot machines, of slot machines that you have in casinos. And gambling is addictive, right? And you might be like, how is it the same thing? It's subconsciously, it's the reward hypothesis, right? When you refresh.
But I think it's important to even say that, because we I think did not mention this, that each time you reload your newsfeed, something new comes in.
That's the reward, right? Yeah. So even if the rest of the newsfeed remains the same, the top result is more often than not different, and that's the reward. And not just that, the physical movement of you pulling down on something and it bouncing back is basically what you do in a slot machine. You pull down the lever and the slot machine rotates, and
you get something, either good or bad.
Yeah.
That's the
gamble.
That's the gamble, right? Yeah.
And the more we talk about it, we're gonna get a bit more into detail here, but the more we talk about it, you realize this has surgically been made into a game that preys on our inherent human behavior. And it psychologically makes us dependent on these things. I mean, think about it now. It's not just a need, but it's also a crutch for so many people when you're outside and you have anxiety, or when it's just weird, it's awkward, you don't have anything to do. You reach for your phone. And even if for nothing, you just unlock it and look at it. I mean, to get out of conversations and stuff. People are hooked. And in terms of design, there's also, if you notice, firstly, one big thing is the infinite scroll.
Infinite scroll.
Right? They had us.
Like
they have us.
If you look up anything on Google, you know that you are really bored if you're on the third page of Google, right?
Second page, bad, dude.
Second page is But like, if you were okay, fine, I'll agree with you there. Because sometimes you want to look for something.
I have never got to this. Like, I don't know what goes
I've had
there.
to in Yuri, but fine. Okay. So you know you're on the third page. So you know you are that far down. You are 3 pages far into the search result. But if it was infinite, like if you could not see how long have you been scrolling for, or how long have you been turning the pages for, you would keep doing it, and you'd probably end up at the 22nd page or 23rd page or maybe the 100th page and not realize it, and still keep reading the links and the little summary that is there on Google under the links, looking for the thing you want, and then realize you already found the thing you wanted, and now you are at a stage where like you're looking for something different, not realizing it that you've been doing it for the past 30 minutes. That's what happens to you when you scroll on Instagram. Like you might open Instagram because you got a notification of someone texting you on Insta, or maybe you want to look at somebody's profile if they've uploaded something new, uploaded a new picture, I don't know, maybe like a girl. So we want to see that, right? You realize that after you've seen it, you still keep scrolling. You still keep scrolling, and you still keep going, and you keep going and keep going, because why not? You don't know how far you are in.
And not just that, but
it's
also...
the same. Sorry, it's the same thing. How like casinos in Las Vegas don't have clocks.
True.
You don't know how long you're in.
It's about immersion.
Yeah.
And also, I feel the whole different pages thing, it also makes you realize how deviated you are from what you were looking for. Because the logical perception is, first page is the things that are most relevant to me, and the further you move from that, the less relevant they are to you. But in an infinite scroll system, there's no rubric for knowing. It's just one page and you're hooked. Like, they have us. Right? Not just that, I was reading the other day, so much effort and research goes into designing like notification bubbles, like the little red circle and the number of notifications.
Like, I can't stand seeing that red dot on any of my applications. Any one of them.
It's made as two things. Firstly, it preys on our playful side. It's made like a game. It pops up like, oh, there's a notification, like a small little red cute dot. And also it preys on our inherent need for order. Sometimes
that's what it is for me, actually, right?
Same. Like, you can't have unread notifications.
Like a lot of times I just open up and then mark all as read and then just close it back.
Exactly.
But I have to do that.
You have to. And that's where they get you. Like, you've opened the app. And the thing is, it's so interesting because these design choices were made by designers and programmers to ultimately sell the human experience. But what the thing is, they can never know the repercussions. They know what they were doing. They were surgical in the way they designed these apps, but they can never know because they are not students of, let's say, psychology or the human psyche. So they will never know the limit of this
they don't know,
addiction.
They don't understand that why addiction of even a good thing is a bad thing.
Exactly.
Like, for them, it's that, oh, we're getting people hooked to being connected all around the world. Why is that bad? Right? But it is, because it's an addiction. Any form of addiction is a bad thing.
100%, yeah.
Because it takes you away from something else. It eats up your time from other things that you could have done, even though it's a good thing.
Even if you're not going to do anything alternative, you shouldn't ever feel like you need to do something. Like, that itself is wrong. And psychologists are doing a lot of studies on this now, and it's bad. And Okay, so we'll come back to this in a minute. So, like you mentioned, the congressional hearing. I think you said the Bill Gates one, or maybe that was before when we were having a conversation. But throughout the course of the history of these companies, a lot of antitrust hearings have happened, right?
Yeah, in the past 2 years at least, yeah.
In the past 2 years at least, right? And one thing that a lot of people have said, especially people who are pro big tech, they've said this is not the first time we are witnessing this phenomenon.
Right.
They're saying we battled this when print media came out first, and then we battled this when television came out and radio came out, and now this is just the next battle, but we will adapt because that's what humanity has done so far. Here's the issue with that. Over the last, let's say from the 60s, so in the last 60 years, no, it's 60 years. We're in 2020.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You just forgot we're in 2020.
Yeah.
All right.
Corona.
We know that the human brain has perhaps evolved, but not significantly, right? Like people back in the 60s were pretty similar. I mean, like Einstein, right? They're probably smarter, right?
Yeah. Because they're not social media.
Yeah. So the human brain is, for the intents and purposes of our conversation, more or less the same, right?
Yeah.
Human beings are the same. But the processing power that we have over the last 60 years has exponentially increased by a factor of 1 trillion with a T.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 billion.
Yeah, that's spending $1 billion every day for 3 years.
Exactly. So computers have gotten smarter by that much. So it's not a fight we can win.
Yeah.
And especially because computers are still getting smarter.
Like, was that we went to the moon with
the calculator?
Yeah.
With the processing power of a modern day scientific calculator.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have exponentially more power than the power we had to go to the moon to like someone's picture.
To like someone's picture, exactly.
Why?
And it's not just that. If you think about it, computers alone are one thing, right? Computers are like more efficient by 1 trillion. Sure. But think about it this way also, like from what you will gather from as we go down this rabbit hole and from what we said about the design, it is not just a human being on this side and a computer on the other side. It is a human being on this side and a group of designers and a computer and programmers whose key...
And an artificial intelligent computer.
Machine learning.
Exactly. Machine.
All of them are against you.
I think it's, like this is one thing, right? That if let's say I wanted to make something that I want people to get hooked on, and each time I give it to someone, I see what they see bad in it and then I change it, right? I'm going to be so good at the end of the day because I'm a human, and eventually I'll forget some things here and there. So that thing that I want to sell to people will never be in its perfect form because I'm a human being. I cannot make something that's perfect. But I can make a computer that can make things that are perfect. And that's what these companies have done. They have made these artificial intelligent computers.
I see what you're saying.
Right? That have perfected on how to get a person addicted to something that they have created. And that is why they are so successful at it.
True.
Which is kind of,
when we say that it's you versus the designers and the AI and machine learning, we mean the thing that is at stake here is your attention, is your need to use the platform because you are the commodity. So they give you these products, right, that you think are really good for you. And I'm not going to be that conspiracy theorist who says, dude, tech companies are only bad. They're so good.
Like I feel like maybe their intention was to create something good for the world. But then, like for example, like if you take, any company, right? They're all public companies. They all make money off of these things. So maybe the intention of, let's say, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified that.
When he was creating Facebook, he probably had the intention of making it something that's going to be amazing for the world. Dude, you're going to be connected. Like you can help people with this. You can help in the sense that if somebody's stuck somewhere, they can just text you with that, right? Like it's so simple.
And it has helped people.
And then obviously, yeah, it has.
In
It has
natural
helped
disasters,
millions of people.
in reconnecting with old friends,
Yeah.
family. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It has even like connected two lost brothers, and there are
True,
stories like that
true.
as well. Maybe his intention was to do something really good for the world, but over time, because it's a business model, they have to make money, and now it's a public company, so now there is some form of pressure of these shareholders
Mhm.
that you have to keep up the business model of this, that you get people addicted, and then
Consistently better profits, basically.
Yeah. so maybe it's just because of that. Like he's under. No, I'm not saying that he is under. I'm not trying to victimize him here in the sense that he's under pressure, poor guy. What I'm trying to say is that maybe it's just how it has become. Like it's just become a business now, and it started off being a good thing for the world.
And not just that, I mean, because a lot of things that we mentioned were there from the beginning. Like, for example, one thing that is honestly really good, but was created for the sole intention of increasing engagement, is tagging your friends in pictures, right? So what that does is, if you think about it, if I take a picture and I tag you in it and I upload it, if no one else in the world sees it, at the very least, 2 people have opened their phone and gone onto the app to see it.
Yeah.
Me, because I posted it, and you, because you will click on the notification, right?
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because again, think about it. Like I will keep saying this. These apps are designed surgically. I agree. They're ruthless in the way that they command for your attention. But they have no idea the severity of the situation, because they are not doctors or psychologists or psychiatrists. They're just programmers who there's a lot of obviously inspiration in their design from things that are aesthetic or pleasing to the human mind, but they have no idea where this is going and where we already are.
Maybe now they do have an idea, but they can't stop.
They can't. They're public companies. Like,
They're
it's too
public
late,
companies,
right?
Yeah. Money over, obviously.
Money over everything.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our first part series on big tech, and I think we got quite into it about how these apps and these companies try to pull you in, try to pull your attention, and how they're designed. We're going to end this episode here, and in the next episode, we're going to talk about
why the addiction of this is bad.
Exactly. Why. So we've discussed so far about
how it is addictive.
And
addiction by itself is bad, but why the addiction of this is also bad.
And also, why do they need us to be addicted?
Right. Why? Right. Yeah, that's very important.
That's pretty important.
That's the most important part of their business model there.
So we're going to discuss that in the next episode. Stay tuned. We hope you like this one. This is going to be, I think, either a 2 or 3 part series. Not really sure. Leave a comment below if you have something to say or anything
and also
you want
please
to talk
correct us wherever we are wrong.
100%. Disclaimer, like
I
always, we know nothing.
Yeah, we just kind of start recording when we talk about something interesting.
100%.
And that's what it is. Like, it's not something that we write down and then we have this whole... we sit down for 2 days and we have a method of how we look up what we want to talk about. It's not that.
We don't even have a mic, guys.
Like, I think we watched Social Dilemma and we're like, you know what, this is kind of interesting. Let's touch upon it. So that's all. Yeah.
All right, so that's it for episode 3. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And we'll see you guys soon.